This week on What in the World is Going On, Iran clock counting down to Israeli destruction halts amid power cuts report. So stay tuned, friends. The Times of Israel reported that on July 6th last week, that a clock in Iran that counts down to the destruction of the State of Israel has reportedly ceased working after power cuts sweep through the nation. And, according to former Al Monitor journalist Asad Hanna, the countdown to Israel's Annihilation clock stopped displaying following a power outage. Times of Israel went on to report that the former Israeli ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, poked fun at the incident in a tweet saying that a few years ago, Iran's radical regime created a clock that counts down to Israel's destruction. Following repeated power cuts in recent days, the clock has stopped. Perhaps instead of developing nuclear weapons, they should concentrate on developing renewable energies. Honestly, friends, I don't know about you, but I didn't even know such a clock existed. But sure enough, it does. And it was unveiled in June of 2017 at Tehran's annual Al-Quds Day festivities, which, by the way, since 1979 has been an annual day of protest organized by the Iranian government against Israel. So, in June of 2017, the Iranian regime decided, well, hey, it's not good enough to just burn Israel flags and chant death to Israel every other week. Now, let's just go one step further and let's erect a clock with a countdown to Israel's destruction by 2040. Nice. You know what? Where's the outcry from the world? Why isn't the mainstream media calling out the Iranian regime for their anti-Semitic hatred and their genocidal intentions of destroying Israel? Come on, news networks and Amnesty International, United Nations and our Western world, Canada, the United States and the UK, etc. Why are you not reporting on this and speaking out against all of this? You know, it's pathetic. And rather than taking a stand and siding with the only democratic country in the Middle East, the world watches and says nothing. And when they do speak, well, what do? They tend to criticize Israel rather than being a comfort and a support to her. Well, I'll tell you what, friends, I won't be silent because the God of Israel has a warning to Iran's leaders and all who support them. Let me read to you a few Bible verses. Psalm 129, verse 5. God says, let them all be confounded and turn back that hate Zion. Joel chapter 3, verse 2. God says, I will gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Zechariah 2:8. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you, for he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. Zechariah 12:3. And in that day I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. Jeremiah 31, verses 35 and 6. Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from before me, saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel shall also cease from being a nation before me forever. And finally, Genesis 12:3. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And so maybe it's a good thing, Iran, that your clock quit, because the God of Israel is sending you a message to quit while you're ahead. So until next time, friends, this has been What in the World is Going On with the Friends of Israel Gospel Ministry. Good night, everyone.